You're listening to the School of Hard Knock Knocks podcast with me, Maury Morgan.
Ladies and gentlemen, your next comedian.
Shouldn't drink on an empty head, you know that, don't you?
That is the shittiest heckle I have ever heard in my life.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
What's a bucket list?
You have dangerously underprepared yourself for the shit that is about to get real.
It's Maury again from the School of Hard Knock Knocks. I am here with the infamous, I think that's one of the times you can use the word infamous, Tim Ferguson. Hello, Tim.
Hello, Maury. Hello, Knock Knocks. Hey, I heard a really good Knock Knock joke. Knock Knock.
Who's there?
Dishes.
Dishes who?
Dishes Sean Connery.
Oh, did that get cut out of some of your specials, your TV specials, that joke?
My driver thought it was hilarious this morning. He almost had a car crash.
Okay. All right. Well, I think it's all in the telling. I think...
It does need it needs hand gestures.
It does, yes. Maybe it needs to come from the back seat as well.
Yeah, no, that's hard. It's hard. I mean, and so, dear listener, do not be put off and wonder if Tim Ferguson is at all able to be funny, because I've proven time and time again I cannot. But, you know, if you keep trying at something, eventually people give you respect. It's why prostitutes end up being called madam. Doesn't matter what it is you do, just keep doing it, apart from, you know, that.
Well, I think we've just heard a little bit of Doug Anthony All-Stars in that last comment. I mean, you didn't shy away from the sensitive topics of prostitution. I still remember a joke you made, I believe it's so, you pointed out at a woman and you called her madam, and I think you said it wasn't because she was older, but because she looked like a hooker. You're quite renowned for laying it down thick and making no apologies.
Oh, well, yeah, but we're only talking about prostitution. I mean, it's a job like anything else. They've got a union, they pay their taxes, it's sex work. I'm sure after a while, you know, even a prostitute's like, okay, you know, it's fairly straightforward. You know, we just go through this, thank you very much, off you go. You know, it's a fairly straightforward kind of business. There's nothing really all that saucy about prostitution. It's just, you know, it's just helping poor darling men who can't make friends with girls get their rocks off and see a live woman naked. The prostitutes I know as friends, you know, they're just like, they talk the way actors do. Well, it's just a job like any other. You know, I'm like a plumber.
Yeah, unblocking pipes, I guess. That's what I was trying to say. Well, fantastic for starting on a very savoury note. Talking about prostitution allows me to put that into the notes and make sure that the word prostitute comes in the title of this podcast. So I think that'll get a few more hits as well.
We haven't even started yet. Don't even say the word pygmies.
All right.
So, Maury, I hear your podcast, and it's bloody great. You talk to some awesome people, and you've gotten some brilliant stuff out of them. So, you know, keep doing it. I make a podcast called Bunga Bunga. With Maynard, and we use a lot more formatting than anybody else. We've got sound effects every 10 seconds and songs and...
Oh, geez, one-upmanship. I'm not even Richard Feidler and you're already doing one-upmanship.
Oh, well, not really. We just do that because what we're doing is far more vacuous than what you're up to. So we just add sound effects.
Got you.
You know, boing, 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 flu, now hear this, you know, silly,
right.
Silly stuff. But your stuff is actually good at the heart of it. Ours is just like souffle. Don't leave it standing.
Ah, yes. This is all about the listener. It's all about the listener wanting to start a career in stand-up comedy, or maybe hear a living legend, talk about their career as well, if they themselves don't want to become stand-up comedians. So I'm going to ask you a question now, if that's okay.
I'm only 27. Yeah.
Well, it was a rough start, wasn't it, in life, I believe? Yeah.
It was. That's the way we start. You always got to start rough. So people listening to this will be interested in comedy and maybe even being a stand-up comedian.
Yes. That's probably, or maybe not at the end of this podcast. They might probably given up on that dream when they realise how difficult it is. And
it's the easiest thing. Ask me, and I will tell you.
Well, you might have natural talent, which brings me to my first question. I don't know, we're probably about 5 minutes in already, and we haven't even asked the first question. Now, I did some research on you, on the internet, of course. Didn't go to the library or anything serious, but before you joined the Doug Anthony All Stars, did you have at any point a solo career, or what could be defined as a solo career?
No, we did it sort of straight out of school. So the solo career in high school is girls.
Yes.
And I'd been fired from that profession many, many times, enough to know that I should give it up and try something else. No, we'd all done a bit of stuff, some plays. I had started a theatre company with some buddies, and we'd done several plays, and we were feeding ourselves with it. But no, not really. I used to do a thing where I would stand, I suppose, it was on a milk crate, and I would shout at people, but I wasn't asking for money.
And where was this, in school, or was it on the street?
Oh, no, it was in downtown Canberra in the City Mall. When I'd, stand there for half an hour shouting stupid stuff.
Were you in character at all, or was this...
No, I would just be shouting, but I was doing it the other day. I was there with Julia Zamiro, and she said, "So, this is where it all began. What were you doing?" And I started shouting at people. They go to your homes. Do not ask for it. Keep your eyes downcast. Leave some room for Jesus. Leave some, keep your hands off each other. Whatever people were doing, I would just tell them not to do it. It was a desperate plea for attention that never worked.
You didn't have a Jesus Lives sign next to you, so people sort of went, "Oh, that's why."
I was wrapped in a blanket.
Right. Oh, you homeless. You looked homeless, but you were in your early 20s. Or...
No, I just left high school, and it was a thing to do on Saturday mornings, go and shout at people. We were just buskers, and we just found that we made more money if we were funny and noisy than if we stood there singing American Pie for 2 hours.
There's a lot to say about Canberra, and the fact that you stood up on a box and were shouting at people gives us more to say about Canberra. I mean, there's not a lot of good stuff to say about Canberra, is there?
It's a great place to be young and in high school. After that, it's just a great place to spend your entire life in a safe, cosy atmosphere.
Yeah.
But shouting at the people of Canberra, I think, is something everyone should do.
I agree with that. You were essentially buskers. The three of you were buskers. Did you, at this point, have a style? Did you even have a name?
Yeah, we had a name pretty quickly. It wasn't a great name, but we stuck with it. And, our style was, to just get in people's faces. It wasn't always funny, but certainly it was worth stopping and watching. And once people had stopped and they'd watched for a bit, there was no way we would let them leave without giving us some money, and fair enough. But the good thing about busking, if you're looking at becoming a comedian, is that you're talking to an audience who haven't paid to see you. If they haven't even paid $5 for you to be in an open mic bill with 30 other comics. You're just standing there with a ukulele doing your thing. So the pressure is off. Nobody is standing there saying, "Look, you've got a microphone. You've basically told us to all stop, sit down, be quiet while you're being funny." So there's zero pressure. I suggest to people, get out and do it on the street and stop being a pissant and waiting around for Raw to come up.
Yes.
I'm waiting till Raw comes up and then I'll do my routine. There are thousands of comedians do Raw, and only one of them gets the attention, and the runner-up usually gets the career. But it can be very disheartening. So do Raw by all means, but that should just be one of the 40 other things you're doing.
So you heard it first, folks. Start your stand-up comedy on the streets, Melbourne, Canberra, Sydney, Adelaide, Perth.
Not Adelaide. Don't do it in Adelaide.
Yeah, good point.
God, Murray, you out of your mind?
I know.
Don't even go to Adelaide. Just be careful. There's red wine and serial killers. Jesus, Murray.
That's how bad Adelaide is, that people from Canberra can even rip into it. That's
exactly. It's all
horrific.
we've got.
Yeah, it's all right. Oh, you're just like a lecturer who's one page ahead of the class, though, to be honest. Yeah.
With everyone else, we're punching up, but with Adelaide, Canberra punches down.
Yeah, well, just want to add, we met, or I saw you didn't see me, thankfully. I was in the audience at RMIT when you came to town. I think it was in mid-90s, might have been 94, 95, and you came into the Union building, as it was called then. I think all unions are banned now at university. And you... the three of you did your performance, and then, of course, you did what you always do. You pick out, become confrontational with an audience member, embarrass them, give them nightmares, and you pointed directly at me. So, yes, folks, this is revenge. You pointed directly at me, and my mate beside me elbowed me in the ribs, and I just kept staring at you, making no movement, until the guy immediately in front of me, we're all sitting down on a cold slab floor, and he buckled first and pointed at his face and may have mouthed the words, me, and you said, yes, you! Yeah, and thank God it wasn't me, because he got pulled up on stage, and I think you either dacked him or, I don't know, puked in his mouth or something very revolting, but very typical of Doug Anthony All-Stars. Is that necessary... that type of confrontational humour, did that work early on, or did you bring that into your set? Did that become a style, or was it there from the immediate offset back in Canberra on the streets?
It started busking, yeah. It was just a way to stop people shopping. Trouble if you're a busker is that people can just keep walking along. So it was a good way to make people stop and listen to a song, or to stop them from leaving while the song was happening. And that habit stayed. Now, I know people say, oh, audience participation. Who does that anymore? I don't care who does that anymore. It's because they're not comedians. If you're a comedian, whether it's harsh language, audience participation, or setting yourself on fire, you have to use any weapon at your disposal. If people don't like swearing in comedy, well, I would like them to get up on stage and make an audience laugh without swearing. I can't wait to see that. I think it'll be fantastic. They'll break some kind of Rubicon.
Did Richard was always there playing beside you? Was that always the style?
Yeah, and then he passed puberty and moved on to a guitar.
And Richard also was always the sort of the younger brother of the three and always got picked on. Was that something that originated day one, or again, did that grow into the characters?
Well, after a while, we thought, Richard's the one with his hands full that can't do the running and leaping and the Spider-Man impersonations. Yeah. And so why don't we use that? And it will be good to have someone in our group that we can pick on before we pick on anybody else.
Right.
And Richard was the one who drew the short straw on that. Essentially, the dynamic has changed, but back then we had Richard, who was the lovable, sad sack. Paula was the angry bully, and me, who was the guy who stood next to Paul and said everything he just said is correct.
Right. I think you were also the good-looking guy, though. I don't mean that in past tense as well.
Oh, yeah, and I still am. No, it's just no competition. I mean, I'm not actually very good-looking. It's just compared to Flopsy and Mopsy, particularly Flacco and McDermott. It's lay down Mazaire, Maury. Lay down.
But you do a very good, facial contortion where you make yourself repulsive, though, and that's one of your gags. Can you still do that?
Oh, yeah, we can all make ourselves repulsive if we try really hard. It takes enormous physical effort to make this face repulsive, and it took a lot of practice. Yeah, hours in front of the mirror, hours and hours just to bring back the beauty. But now that I'm in my mid-70s, I'm what they call distinguished, which means I guess I can be distinguished from furniture.
Okay, mid-70s, okay. All right, there you go. The one thing I learned quickly about stand-up comedians, all comedians, is you can never trust them with the truth, so I'll just take that.
Oh, the truth? It's all we deliver. That's the other thing. If you want to write comedy, as I said to my class at NIDA this morning when I was explaining, what is funny? Yeah. Tim, tell us what is funny. I asked them, what is the one thing that makes people laugh? What is the principle underpinning provoking laughter? And there was silence. Everybody was scratching their heads. And I had to say, you know this. What are you staring at me for? You know it. You've laughed before. Yes, we have. Well, what's the one thing, the grand arching principle? Nothing. Silence. Well, dear listener, it's very simple. Laughter is provoked involuntarily by creating a surprise that makes sense.
Right.
And that's it. Like, seriously, that's it.
Yeah.
And it's based upon delivering the truth that the audience accepts. And it surprises them because they thought you were going to say something else. They thought you were going to do something else. It's the heart of slapstick because, oh, you should have seen that coming. It's the heart of everything, telling the truth in a way that surprises people, which is as difficult as it is simple. How to be funny, very simple. You can have a pun.
Yeah.
And puns work. You might be thinking, I would never do a pun.
Puns sound a bit like a dad joke, though, don't they? What's the difference between puns and dad jokes?
Well, like there's a Susan Murray gag where she says, my parents are from Glasgow, so they're incredibly hard. I mean, I was never smacked as a child. Well, maybe 1 or 2 grams to get me to sleep at night. Now, all of a sudden, you go from puns are old-fashioned things that dads do to telling a joke about giving heroin to babies to make them go to sleep. It's the subject matter that defines whether the basic joke principle is working or not. It's the subject matter. It's not the joke principle itself. As soon as you start thinking in that way, doors begin to open. And all you have to then come up with is subject matter that most people aren't interested in or are too scared to touch. Otherwise, you can end up, doing the comedy of my relationship, but everyone else is doing that.
Yeah.
So how are you going to be picked up from the crowd? You just want to be talking about stuff nobody talks about.
Well, you talked not only about stuff no one was talking about, but many times people needed a dictionary to keep up with some of the words you were using. I know often it bordered philosophy and scientific principles. Where did that come from? Who was the instigator?
Oh, that was a preoccupation of McDermott's. Paul was always very interested in, doing the clever stuff, like Monty Python used to, those philosophers' songs, that stuff. He always found that stuff really interesting, and different artists and, American writers, LSB Toklas. He was very interested in the eruption of the Enlightenment. And so that's where that would come from, because Paul's always been very interested in Fitzroy Street. He always thought that those ridiculous, non-dairy, milk-sodden hipster doofuses have something to offer somebody. I grew up in the country, and so I've always had the belief that people in Fitzroy Street are not only deluded, but are spending all of their time trying to delude others, whether it's about, what's that stuff in bread they won't eat?
A gluten or hot dogs? I don't know.
Yeah, 2% of people may have a gluten allergy.
No.
Nobody else does. And yet there are people who don't eat gluten because they have their heads up their ass, which I imagine changes the flavour. I've always been far more interested in Parramatta Road. I've always been interested in, them out there who don't live in Fitzroy, who don't live in Darlinghurst, who don't live in Fortitude Valley, the real people.
You did go a little commercial, though, if I can bring your memory back, and when you possibly you would have been living in Melbourne, I believe, at the time, because you did Don't Forget Your Toothbrush, which was quite commercial. Just for those who have no idea, because I think, did you do this for 2 years or a year? How long did that last?
Oh, we had one glorious year in the sun. We spent all of Channel 9's money.
Oh.
It was the most expensive game show ever devised. And we had our own Air Force. We had a tank. We just blew stuff up. We had a studio audience of 400 people. It was a mammoth show. I was the one who said, we've got to get on Channel 9. The All-Stars used to be on the Today Show once a month or once a fortnight. I don't know what it was, because that audience is a whole different audience from the ABC audience.
Definitely.
And I wanted them because there are 10 times as many. And people may be thinking, well, hang on. The ABC has a superior audience. It's not true that the ABC has an older and snobbier audience. But IQs don't follow postcodes. IQs do not improve simply because they've got a degree. Doing a PhD will not make you smart. It just shows that you can embrace the most awkward writing form to create a document that no one will ever read.
Right.
Whereas if we were in a car and you and I were in the Nullarbor and our car broke down, would we want A, a barista,
Yeah, right.
B, Australia's greatest performance artist, or C, a mechanic from the western suburbs of anything? Who would we regard as a genius? Who would we regard as the revolutionary who saved our lives? The fact is, genius just comes out of the ground. It just happens. The best rock and roll bands, as U2 said, all start in the suburbs.
Yeah.
So making commercial television was a very logical step. If you're coming up with a sitcom, I teach people how to write sitcoms and funny movies. If you're coming up with a sitcom, you've got a couple of choices. One is join the endless queue of people who want their sitcom on the ABC because they think the audience is somehow smarter.
Oh.
And good luck with that one, because the ABC receives, on average, 500 submissions a week, so 10 sitcom proposals a week. Or go round to Channel 9, Channel 7, Channel 10, and pitch to them, because they don't get sitcom pitches from anyone except the people who know what they're doing.
Right. Good advice.
Yeah, and the ABC really is a great place to start. It was a good place for the All-Stars to start, but it's TV high school. You might as well go around and pitch your idea to the people who know everything they need to know about deciding things without you waiting for months to even get a hearing. Whereupon your idea will just be put on a spike. It will either be on a spike with 500 other concepts or be on a spike with maybe 6 or 7.
Right. Yep.
But, I can talk about that till I'm blue in the face, but people will be listening saying, nah, that's not a thing, that's not a thing, it's not a thing. It's a fucking thing.
Well, I think that's the language that I appreciate in Doug Anthony All-Stars, a very directness. Was that why? But the ABC seems to have a looser language policy. They seem to get away with swear words, for example, I don't know, even at the 7:30 time slot, whereas the mainstream channels seem to be a bit more polished and softer and cautious.
Yeah, of course they're dealing with a much bigger audience.
Right.
But the fact remains, if you swear in your sitcom and it's put on the ABC, your viewers will drop. There are a lot of people who just don't like hearing swear words. The swear words were deleted in Frontline, one of Australia's greatest sitcoms. Yeah. There would just be sort of this awkward pause as someone's lips mouthed the word fuck. We knew they were saying fuck. We could tell it was fuck. Fuck was the most appropriate and useful word at that time. Granny knew they were saying fuck.
Yeah, right.
But they take it out because it upsets people. Some people will actually switch off this podcast now simply because I said the word. Sorry, we deleted it then.
That's right. Slapstick.
So the ABC's mind is no more open. They just like to think their minds are open because, well, that's what, inner city, arty-farty, university-educated people like to think.
Well, you're beginning to sound like a Liberal voter.
No, Liberals don't think like that. They're not that open-minded.
That's true. There's not many right-wing stand-up comedians, but with your jackets and the punk look that you had, quasi sort of neo-Nazi look in many ways, I guess many people would have been confused perhaps into what you actually represented in comedy. Was there ever a case where people arrived and were like, hang on, this is not a right-wing convention I
Well,
expected?
the Doug Anthony All-Stars were always right-wing comedy. Nobody else was doing it. Nobody else is doing it now. It's a wide-open field.
Right.
The great thing about right-wing comedy is to create a surprise that makes sense. You want the audience to assume something. For example, that we have the best of intentions and they're all left-wing intentions. This leaves people open to making assumptions, and as soon as they do that, you're having fun. Now, we're not actually right-wing people, but if you look at a lot of the comedy we do, it's not good. I remember Richard Feidler had a great joke where he would say, hey, women, and people go, women can do anything, yeah, women can do anything they want, yeah, all the women would shout, except have the right to vote and a license to drive. Now, that's a right-wing comment.
Yeah, right.
But all it was about was saying, you people just assume when we go, yeah, women, that it must be good. But look on stage, there are 3 men in military uniforms. How did you think this was going to go? It's a surprise, and yet you should have seen it.
And coming from Richard, it would have been a bigger surprise. From McDermott, maybe less so, but Richard, the nice guy.
He's a nice guy. Of course he's a feminist.
Yeah, he is. I'm going to keep on the topic of Das. I hope I don't annoy you with these reminiscing times. Comedy writing, when I don't know if there was anyone specifically before you, but maybe Joe Doltz, who sang the song Shut Up Your Face. But apart from that, I can't really think of other Australian...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he came before us.
Early 80s or something. But I think you set the scene when it came to music comedy. We've got, of course, Tripod today, and Sammy J plays a piano, and he's very popular today. But, writing music and comedy with that music, was that something you did as a group, the 3 of you together? Did you brainstorm around a log fire, or were you doing things separately and then coming together?
We tended to work independently, come in and say, sing this, which is still how it works. In fact, Paul McDermott's written all of the songs in the current show, mostly because he's better at writing those songs. He's just got a gift for that stuff. And so, but most of the time, whatever the routine or whatever the song is, there is a simple rule, which is 100% freedom, 0 support.
Okay.
So you can do anything. I don't care. McDermott decides, I'm going to do a dance. Okay, he will just say, he won't even tell me. It'll just start. And he's totally free to do that. But if it doesn't work, he cannot expect me or Paul Livingston to catch him or help him or try to get a laugh. It's just, well, you're on your own.
Right.
But once you've got something in black and white, then we get together and, talk about, you could change this line, you could tweak it here, tweak it there. But it becomes a little organic. But most of the time, we just trust each other enough and say, okay, we'll just give that a shot and see what happens. Dance, you say. Yes. In a wheelchair, you say. Okay. My most recent feminist poem, all the guys knew was that I was going to read a new feminist poem, and I am an ardent feminist, and I read the poem from the position of being a woman stuck in the body of a good-looking man, and I read this poem, and they've got no idea. I just launch into the poem. But I have no support afterwards. They don't even pat me on the back. It's a very powerful poem, and it forces a conclusion upon people with which they must be uncomfortable, and yet it's undeniable, given the way the poem has run.
So, assume, therefore, given that there's no support, I like that you must have bombed on stage countless times. Was there any particular moment? Yeah, any particular moment?
No, we don't look at it. We don't emotionally invest in it, and so if a joke doesn't work, well, we're not invested in it, and the shows we do move very quickly. So if people don't laugh at a given joke, the chances are they didn't know that was supposed to get a laugh.
Right. What about the whole show? Have you ever done it early days? Have you ever done shows, or more recently, where the audience, I don't know, maybe they just didn't realise the kind of comedy you were going to do, and then they're completely different than what we thought?
No. No, because, I keep smiling no matter what happens. So we always look like we're confident and happy. I mean, not every audience connects with you or with the material, but eventually our theory is they will buckle. We did a show at Edinburgh Festival last year, a late night thing, late and live, I think it is, at the Gilded Balloon. And, for some reason, it was an audience of 500 teenagers.
Right.
They'd never heard of us. They'd never heard of Australia. They just had no idea what this was supposed to be. And we went on, and we only had a quarter of an hour with them.
Yep.
And the first 5 or 6 minutes, it was difficult for them. They were trying to work out what we were saying. And then when they worked out what we were saying, they were trying to work out whether you're even allowed to say any of this. But by the end of the 15 minutes, we made them knuckle under. We brought them to our island.
Right.
But it's just the way you work it. It's the way you pace it, and having, surprising people with the truth they'd never heard, and yet they have to accept. They have always believed it was, and we knew going out on stage that was going to be the difficulty. These people are teenagers. They've got no interest in seeing men singing songs to them. There is, you get light applause going on. But it's okay, because if you work on your material and have strong, identifiable characters, then eventually they work it out, even though they don't speak English. They're from Scotland.
I can imagine. Do you have to go to the UK in order to make it big in comedy?
No, go to New York. Everybody goes to Edinburgh now. There was Los Trios Ringbarkers went, and then the next year we said, we too will go. Of course, those guys went and they came back and they're alive. We kept going and I think, formed an example for other people who thought, well, Jesus, if the All-Stars can turn up and sell out, anybody can. But the place now to go is where everybody else isn't going.
Yeah.
In August, you can go to Edinburgh, but there are 3,500 acts on at the festival. I mean, it's an incalculable number of performers, let alone, finding the audience for them. The place to be in August is New York or Los Angeles, because a lot of the top-line comics from the States have also gone up into Edinburgh because they use that as a way to drip feed into the UK. So just go to New York. And who will they talk to? I don't know, get on the internet. Go to venues. Sleep with someone.
Yeah, right.
If you're young, you should be taking your genitals and using them as keys to the gates that are closed. You fuck your way into show business. Is there any other way that's going to be quick? Turn up in New York, fuck your way onto the stage, and then if you're funny, it will all unfold from there. Now, you might be thinking, that's a funny thing to say, but seriously, it's show business.
Well, it all makes sense to me, because I know that, you guys wrote the song and performed I Fuck Dogs. So if anyone's listening to this going, my God, he's so crass, well, you've got to listen to some of Doug Anthony All-Star's early stuff, particularly that one, the I Fuck Dog song.
Well, I've got to say, though, Maury, that the dogs don't run the comedy industry. So if you find yourself doing that, don't think it's a career path. It's just a pastime.
Oh, really? Right. Actually, can I ask, we all know where we were on 9/11 and Diana's death. Where were you when, I assume it was Paul McDermott came to you with this song, hey, I've got a great idea, it's called I Fuck Dogs?
Yeah, I think we were in Fitzroy, I think. No, we were in London, and we had a little office with people in it, and he turned up and said, I've got this song, and he gave Richard the chords, and he sang it, and we did what we usually do, which is, not really laugh all that much. We just nodded and said, yeah, that's good, that's great, that can fit. It's an important point we're making there.
It is. Yeah. I love that song.
Yeah, and really, it's a parody of love songs, and "Love is where you find it" was one of the other lines in another song in that show, which is and once you start looking at bestiality, it becomes more and more reasonable.
Well, hilarious. And Tim, you've been very gracious with your stories in this podcast today. We've gone deeper than I ever expected.
Deeper.
Deeper than I've ever expected, yes. And would love to know, would love to share, where are you? How can people get in contact with you? How do they sign up and learn more from you in your writing course? Over to you.
Well, don't they have psychic powers? If they're people who don't have psychic powers, it's pretty simple. You can either tweet me on the Twitterverse, and my address is @real Tim Ferguson as opposed to the unreal Tim Ferguson.
He's an arsehole.
Or you can find me on the gigantic interweb. The website is www.cheekymonkeycomedy.com. cheekymonkeycomedy, all one word, .com. If you go there, you'll be able to find the comedy courses. You'll be able to find links to books, to Doug Anthony All-Stars tour dates, to meaning. What is it all about? You will find it there at cheekymonkeycomedy.com. Otherwise, call me. What do you mean you don't have the number? Well, I guess we're not friends, but maybe we will be. Get a hold of me, and what can you lose? What could possibly go wrong? I've got a comedy course coming up very soon in Perth on the 13th, 14th of May. I think there are a couple of seats. If there aren't, then contact me on Twitter and, we'll try and work something out, because I'm always rattling the bars of the cage.
Your door is always open, Tim. You're a very
it is
available person, I found.
I am. I figure, why not talk to people? That's what social media is for. It's better to talk to people about what you're doing than just to, do now hear this and put ads on radio.
For all the abuse that you've dished out over the years, I'm surprised you're not in hiding. You're actually very, very easy to find.
I am. Well, I'm very easy to talk to, but nobody knows where I live. That's the thing. I hide. In fact, that's because I don't know where I live. I spend most of my life in the back of a Tarago being driven somewhere. But and it is abuse, I suppose. But it's abuse with a point. It's abuse with heart.
You did. You certainly made sure that we didn't grow up as snowflakes in Australia. I can vouch for that.
Well, that's right. I mean, let's face it. It's Australia. Like, people in Australia are deserving of respect. This place is just a prison colony with a view. Yeah. Man up, people. Yes. And as for you girls, man up.
Perfect. Couldn't have said it better myself. I could not have said that better myself, is what I was trying to say better the first time.
Well, that's why you called me, Maury.
Yeah, that's true. You're an expert. I'm just starting.
Really? Now, seriously, get a hold of, from your library, The Cheeky Monkey. Don't buy it, because I don't need the tax problem.
Perfect. Well, I'm not sure if you're specifically talking to me or the audience, but I will definitely do that. The rest of you can bugger off. Tim, thanks again. We look forward to another interview sometime soon and learning more about some of the skills that you deliver in your courses too.
No worries. Thanks, Maury.
And with that, I think it's only appropriate we go out with a little tribute to the Doug Anthony All-Stars.
Doug Anthony All-Stars. We get as much out of this song as you put into it. God love you. I fuck dogs. In the apart. After dark, when the moon is a pie in the sky, the Great Dane is too tall. Chihuahuas are too small. But I like to quell lonely nights. Well, the Dutch Hound is best of all, 'cause he is longer than he's thin. He loves to let me in. His eyes glow with love. He fits like a glove, and that's why he's man's best friend. I fuck dogs.